Hi, Svea and Mia. Let me get some music on. I don't know why I like to play the music. It sets the tone for how I'm going to talk. Today I'm going to talk about. I was just sitting outside and I was like looking at um, a bicycle. I know, strange, right? I got you two bikes. I was going to bring them to you in presents, and I didn't have any money at the time, so strangers gave them to me for you. Um, I know, strange. I know. There was kindness, and they're at your Aunt Margie's house. Your mom didn't want them. I thought you could have a pair at your grandparents' or at her mother's house. I don't know if Henry's still alive. I know he was sick. Um, but I was going to talk about bikes, about the Wheel of Fortune, and and how bikes have a front tire and a back tire. And at one time, I won't tell you what kind of experiment, but I wrote about it once. About if you took lights and shine them on the wheels, depending on how the light was, or if it was a strobe light, um, the wheels and the spokes might look like they're going either really fast or really slow, or in one direction or the other. And in the middle, they're the pedals. Not in the middle, closer to the back. Let me get the music on. But I was thinking now, if we're talking about one source driving, you know, the wheels, and if we were thinking that they were going in one direction, one was going this way and the other one was going this way. And one driver, was wondering, you know, does that stop? Does it stop the Wheel of Fortune when you get off the bike? Or does it, does the wheel just sit there? And in this case, I was thinking about one wheel on one side and one wheel on the other side. And in the middle, there was a driver. Well, it was more over here. Well, you get the picture. It was a source driving both wheels. I knew what I would choose if I was on one of the wheels. And I had assumed that I knew what the other person, or for that matter, your mother, would have chosen on the other wheel. And I suppose that you could think about it as magic, or as like some, that sun out there is just like beaming on me. Or as, some kind of, godsend. And I don't know, take a look next time when you're on a bike and watch the wheels go. And if you have like a flashlight, that might work. Because as light hits the wheels, you might see that they either slow down or go faster or stop. I don't know. I I was gonna I wasn't gonna say resurrect the dead. um got a special deck. Not a friend, a lover, really. Gave me once a long time ago in Walmart. And I use them sometimes. And sometimes I use them with with my own personal deck. It's strange. No, they're from the same source. And I don't know if you know this, but I was really liked Aleister Crowley readings, and I saw the movie not that long ago. I think it was last year. Might have been longer. Interesting man. Interesting work. I think one of my favorite was, well, there was a couple favorites, and I'm not going to tell you which ones, but you might know if you read them. I mean, there were some other people that I really enjoyed their work. You know, I got so wrapped up in clinical studies, and inward observation that I stopped reading things for pleasure. Like, I stopped reading fiction. Like, one of my favorite books of Marion Zimmer Bradley is like The Mists of Babylon. You know, and I read that book. I didn't put it down until I finished it. I mean, I hardly slept. It was, you know, Margie has it now. I don't know if she's ever read it. I was going to get it from her, you know. Having been talking to her, Ricky said that she's sick, and I wish she would just listen to me and slow down. That's what I've always told her. It's just, Margie, slow down. You know, say no to your kids. Take time for yourself before it's too late. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, like, she's always fixing things, or trying to fix things, and trying to help. And she neglects herself. And you know, I just, you know, I tell her, even when, you know, she was in Memphis, I was like, Marge, slow down. You know, she used to do those doubles, you know, from 3 to 7 in the morning, and then she would be up. She would sleep for an hour. Well, like Grandma, she didn't hardly need sleep either. It's like all three of us, Chris and me and Marge, we could, like, you know. So anyways, I was going to pull from this deck, and, you know, talk about, like, my feelings about, I guess, spirituality. And I have been to so many different religious, and I call them religious things because, you know, I think true spirituality comes from a place where you find, and not from a text. I think that I have used or taken parts of spiritual teachings and found a way to incorporate those into my own beliefs and really start my own, you know, belief structure. And I really see magic in all of them. You know, I would imagine that, you know, the Buddha had great magic and great power and just sat, you know, he sat in Christ, great power and sacrifice for his family. Muhammad, great, just noble, I imagine there's other religions, and I haven't studied all of them. I'd given up, on magic once. I knew I couldn't. I was, probably saying I was, when I was gardening and doing, cooking for people, using magic. Not in a bad way. Just I had a natural gift for, I said in my book that I left that and went and hid in education. And, that was not, I still believe in that. There's magic stories in all great religions. And I think natural magic and the magic of the heart and of belief is that's why I get my strength from. I love this. This Sisters of Mercy. That's what they call Grandma a witch. No. You know what happened to witches at my time. I'm not, more people were burned innocent of being witches than were really witches. Some people use those trials as excuses, to further their own agendas. And the church, the Catholic Church back in those days, employed witches. It's not going to be written about. Not written about in any outward manner. But you know that they did. That is a magic too. Can you imagine what they do? It's all I don't know why I'm telling you this. I don't know why. I just wanted you to know some of my inward thoughts about, take a look at things and find magic in them. Like this candle. I find magic in things all the time. Like this. This makes me and how I set it in the sun. Cool. You know, or even this, I wear it somehow. I used to have them hanging in the wall in my apartment. Gifts from nature. Last night, Sean and I went on a walk. And we walked from here down through the park, across the bridge, into the Walker area, down by like the aisle. And into some wooded areas and then around the aisles. And we saw this fox. It was this, a majestic type creature. I mean, it had longer legs than a normal fox. And it just was proud and looked at us out of a curiosity. And we started talking, and it ran across the street. And there's went and hid. After we started talking, some of the cards I don't say what they are. I've had this card before in multiple decks. And the symbols are like that. Some people say that I'll become a target for some ritual. Grandma told me I'm the boss of my own self. I would heed that if I were you. That warning. Not that you girls you, Svea, or you, Mia, need to worry about that. The other selves of me, I would just be like, think about what you do to Steve, or to Steven, or, they used to call me half-breed in school, in Wilmer. Funny, I never so much minded that terminology, I didn't. But a reflection of someone. That card was. And I would imagine if someone was on one wheel and the other one was on another, and the peddler was in the middle. No, they're driving. They would take heed of me too. I'm not trying to tell you girls to hide your feelings. I'm trying to say express them. Kitty has a secret name. Miss County cats. They're independent and they watch me when I sleep. One sits on this side. And sometimes they wake up and they're both like, "What are you doing? Wakey, wakey." I'm just thinking about what today will bring. I've got some things I'm going to do. I I have that. And at the center of that, I know that the wheels, there's spaces in between the spokes. If you think about that. Think about that. And light cast on wheels and spokes. Think about what that might mean. John and I talked about, these are just hypotheticals, but, if given a choice, or given an opportunity to start a new world, a new planet somewhere else, would, I asked him if he would ask people if they wanted to go, how you would do that, or would you concentrate on straightening up the mess on the earth first before giving people an opportunity to bring their garbage with them, in just hypotheticals, but I had this vision about leading people. I'm not going to tell you the whole vision. Some of it was scary. I had enough training to know that I should just remain calm in the face of it. I taught that to some others. So, yeah. I was, I'm just curious. I was the fatalist, so I went right to the clinical side of it, and I was like, you need to look at genetic structures, and you wouldn't want to bring in, that's where I went right away, and then I was like, you just leave it open for everybody, But I was thinking about, viability and, and that's where my clinical mind goes, and then my compassionate mind goes. Just ask everyone. Some people won't want to go. And it's just stuff that you think about. I do it. I think about the darndest things sometimes. I'm just like, I told you I've had like a million things going on in my mind sometimes. I also mentioned that I am done, recycling through that line. That one line. My own spiritual journey is like ever evolving. I learned just from looking out the window and seeing the trees move, and I call it inward diving sometimes, where I can feel my mind just kind of go like this inside, and that can kind of travel through the parts of my body. It shuts down some of the influence that's, in that sphere of influence, and so I, quiet it. I know there are things that I wanted, to teach you guys. Now I can just talk to you about them. It's, it's only, you miss that opportunity to be in my presence and to feel that energy in me. I think we all do give some energy off, or some do. And like I said, I would still well for you if you choose Svea and Mia. I would go beyond what anybody had ever thought possible for you, and still send you messages, and still record things for you in time. You know, at one time somebody said time would be my undoing. Or my own past would come back to haunt me. I disavow that. I took away that power by already seeing all the pieces that played into it. And so I give it no power. You know, if I have to, I will put those walls back up in my mind. You know, I know how to do that. You know, I can see it right now in my mind. You know, walling my mind up. Brick after brick after brick. You know, it reminds me of a Pink Floyd song. I used to have this vision of like just, and it would, you know, inside my mind, it would like, and then I would just, enough of the outside world. I'm like, you know, inward. Find something, Svea. Find something that calls to your heart. And Mia, you too. Don't fight with each other, like I told you already. Unless it's normal sister stuff, then by all means, you know, be done with it. And then, you know, just be like, express your feelings, you know? And think about those. You can even think about wheels in the bus. I remember reading some of that stuff. You know. I think about, you know, where the sidewalk ends. That's what Grandma used to read me. There's so many of, you know, those cute poems that I still love. I don't have the book. You know, I gave my copies away. And, you know, today I just already talked about that too. I know I have, like, you know, ancestral beings helping me. I don't think they thought I was going to be so difficult. And they were like, oh. Esther's son? Maybe a pushover. You taught me pretty well. Sometimes I know she was up talking to me at nighttime. I heard her sometimes. I heard her, like, she would be in the, in the room or in the living room when I was sleeping on the floor, and I'd be like, Grandma, are you saying something? And she was like, shh. So I was like, all right. Sometimes I felt like it was a dream. She was talking to me. There's some other people who do that to me too. I'd wake up and I'd be like, are you talking to me? Yeah. Anyways, just find some joy and some, I was going to say happiness, but I'm looking for a different word. You know how I like words. And one time I created words, gave life to them with the power of my thought. I have a list of words that I was working on. I'm going to work on one that combines wellness, happiness, unity, reconciliation, and hope together. I don't know if you have any ideas on that. I could think about words that, talked about total darkness. But I know that there is never nothing. There is never, devoid of space. Just thinking about that in even our limited understanding of how, solar system or how different worlds work. There is still, I don't know, maybe it's my limited understanding. There is always light, though, in darkness. And if you, in photography, there's grayscales. And I have books about that, about lighting. One of my instructors taught me, a lot about the grayscales. And what is it? I just, again, those words for the absence of matter. I mean, I don't know that word. The complete absence of all matter. I think that sometimes people, when the movies, they called them like black holes, or I'm not sure that's, that's how we understood things then. And I'm not sure, I would probably walk through that for you. Come out somewhere. I would come out in darkness for you. Or night. What's funny is that either way, at the core of my being, I would change either side. It's 35:47. I'll let you go for now. I'm started looking for a job. I talked to my father yesterday, so yeah. If you have any questions or stuff, it's a school day for you. Monday morning coffee for me. Family man, urgent. Anyways, I love both of you, Svea and Mia. Think about it. Think about what your lives have cost. Not now when you're so young. Think about the sacrifices I made to protect me, my heart, from the damage that your mother was inflicting. By doing so, I cut her power off. Her hold over me. She has no hold over me now. And so and now I can work on that inward heart. At one time somebody had told me, protect your heart. Hold it. What was it? I'm doing, she was talking about chakras. I do that sometimes. And then sometimes I can feel like energy from my hand going into it. I was going to go and do some training on energy work and healing in other people. I realized, though, I don't need training anymore. I've always had it. And no board of nursing and no certificate is going to make me a better healer than I already am. And there is no reason I need to heal anymore. No. Like I told Sean this, that it wasn't me in this physical form that was broken. It wasn't. And it's time that they start picking up some of their own garbage. I carried my weight. I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my back at one time. And I let go of that. Not that I won't help, but I'm not going to be the sole person to mend all those pieces out there. Some of the work needs to be done by others, and by people responsible. Like I say, I find my strength in this man's body, the body that I was given. I knew that there were people in our family that came to visit me for reasons, and that look after me still, you know. But it's not my healing that I'm worried about. No. You know. And I think that's the peace that I get now, is thinking, you know, that I've already done that. You know, and the power that I have to just be, you know, an observer or a watcher or a participant, and how I take that power away from other people, just like that. You know, I'm sure they don't like that. You know, that's all right. I have stood in the face of ugliness before, and adversity, and pain, you know, and I learned. And I hold so much inward knowledge of where I've been in my life. Like I said, there's no hell that could hold me. You know, or no heaven strong enough to squash my spirit. There is nothing. You know, my spirit has always been free. I would like to see it chained down. That will never happen. I could be 100,000 people in my mind. You know, or more. I answered a couple questions that I wasn't. Yes, I could enact my vengeance on people in a hypothetical situation. You know, I could. I'd rather give people a choice. I'd rather say to people, stop hurting other people. Stop hurting yourself. Stop it. I had said that once, repeatedly, as a mantra once. And it drove some people around me mad. I told you a lot now. I know, I probably, you know, I won't do as many as I did yesterday. I'm sorry, that was a little bit, you know. I wanted to get that stuff out about my photos and, like, the art that I like. I can do some more photo work. You've probably seen, or some of you have seen some of the stuff that I post in, like, my community, or our community, really. You know, I wish more people would join it. You don't have to. I like this song, too. I made a video to this song of Sean. It doesn't play all the time. One time I got it to play when I was out of the house, and I thought, well, so yeah, I'm gonna start crying just thinking about it. You know that. One other thing I was going to talk to you about is, you know, I know you're just girls and whatnot. It's about like sexuality and stuff. You know, I'm done with people trying to tell me that my sexuality, that's my own business. Thank you, Grandma. You know, you're right. I'm the boss of my own self. And I'll decide. You know, normally we go on a serial monogamist. You know, I always said that. I needed the connection. But I don't feel bad being in relationships with men or women. Just right now, I'm shocked. I'm thinking about, like, what would happen if, like, a new race of beings, angels or demons, or, you know, different types of gods, or what we consider in our limited understanding at that time, you know, what would happen if, I would imagine it would. I have never been a shallow man. And that, you know, depth that I hold within me, you know, and the ability right now I'm just seeing, like, myself flying around, like, I know, it's just like these stories keep coming in my head about, like, how I would swim under, when I'd swim underwater, I would put the bottom, and I would, like, spin around like this in the water, and then I would go like this, you know, and I would kind of swim sideways under the water, and I would swim really fast like this, backwards. I love swimming. The water. Don't ever let anybody talk to you about, like, you have to do this or that. No one's business but your own. If you want to love whoever you want to love, I will not say, you know, your mother or your mother's parents might. Oh, yeah. You know. So, and I'm tired of people saying that, you know. I talked to Sean about that too. It's like, I don't have any embarrassing feelings about the people that I love. You know, why would I? Why would I? This song too. Oh, I don't know if it'll play. This song used to make me cry.
I'll be the one if you want me to.
I listened to it over and over and over again. And
anywhere I would have followed you. Say something, I'm giving up on you.
I love Sean.
And I am feeling so small.
I don't feel small at all, though, you know why?
It was over my head. I know nothing at all.
In here.
And I will stumble and fall.
I've already stumbled and fallen.
I'm still learning to just starting to crawl.
What's funny is, if you think about
Say
that,
something,
and how
I'm
still learning
giving
to
up
love,
on you.
I have loved people who hated me. I've held hands
Sorry
with people
that I couldn't get to you.
that, were monsters, and
Anywhere
still
I
cared for them.
would have followed you.
I still made my heart reach to them.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
My own souls within me
And I
are
will
whole.
swallow my pride.
And the
You're
other thing,
the
Svea and
one
Mia,
that I love.
don't let anybody say that
Saying
pride is
goodbye.
wrong. I walk
Say
proud
something,
every
I'm
day
giving up on you.
with upright and just,
I'm sorry that
I
I
always have.
couldn't get to
People used
you.
to think I was in the military because I had such great posture. I never learned that. That's how I was. Just, I suppose it's from being,
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
we'll talk about something different next time. I'll talk about some more
Something, I'm giving up.
other stuff. I wish you would let me know what you want me to talk about.
Say something.
Find me. There's time. I love you both. Be good to each other. And have fun in school. Daddy.